Hello again. So, it's kneading time. Now, here we have our dough. This is a bit of an experiment for me. I had to deal with a customer over the time I would have normally spent kneading this, so it's been in the fridge since. I don't think it'll do any real harm. I do like to leave a bit of a delay. Half an hour, 45 minutes after mixing before I knead. It chiefly with sourdough, it's just to let all the flour dissolve into the liquid component, which is water in this case. It's into the water, and that means that when you start kneading, you're getting straight into developing the gluten rather than just encouraging the flour to dissolve. It gets you over that horrible sticky stage of kneading a bit faster. So, best move this camera, eh? Back with you in a moment. Observe the dough, but it's stuck in a bowl. What are we going to do? This. I'll be doing slap and fold kneading, which is a good way to knead a big old sticky mess like this. This gets put to one side. If you're my mum, you wash out the bowl, even though you're going to be plonking the same dough back into it in a minute. I do not bother. Never have. So, slap and fold kneading. You take your hands, fingers clenched together, largely because it's really irritating if you get bits of dough in between your fingers. You push them underneath the cowbat of dough until they meet. A lot of this is going to be stuck to the surface because I've left it for so long. You lift. Oh, not as much as I would have thought. You flick and you fold it over itself. Doing it slowly means more of it sticks to my hands, but worse things have happened at sea. And then you repeat that. Go in from the top and bottom so that you're turning it. It's actually not that stretchy a mix. It would have been, if I'd added more water earlier when I was talking about it, this would be a slightly messier process. But you'll see it's actually hard work, and my hands have got dough, they've got dough stuck to them, but it's not terrible. And with this method you can, sorry about the slapping sounds by the way, with this method you can knead big pieces of dough with high water contents pretty quickly. Again, slap, flip them over, and if you do this sort of nonchalant spread of the hands, it comes away from your fingers pretty easily. Now, the question is how long to knead. The answer is until it feels about right, until it feels smooth and elastic. You do the window pane test and things like that. But there's no point in videoing me slapping this dough around for 5 to 10 minutes, so guess I'll stop the camera for now. So here we are again, 3 minutes later, and I've got my rhythm a bit more in, but the dough is developing more flexiness, stretchiness. It's not yet getting any less sticky, but I thought this would be a good time to note that while this is a good method of kneading for dealing with this sort of dough, and I enjoy it, all methods of kneading work. Kneading is just stretching and folding. You're folding in the early stages to mix, but also to incorporate air, and you're stretching to develop the gluten structure. Though if you were to just stretch and stretch without ever folding or coming at it from a different angle, you'd just be tearing apart the gluten structure. So your British knead with the pan where you fold it over after, and you're keeping it in the bowl and stretching it around, or using a machine, doesn't make a blind bit of difference. They all work. You end up with dough at the end of them. Well, you start off with dough, to be honest. You end up with usable dough at the end of them. Hope that was educational. This is coming together, but I want to give it a little bit longer, so we'll be back with you shortly. Hello again, another 3 minutes. And I'm thinking, I don't really need to say hello every time I start filming. From your perspective, I haven't been away. Well, something to think about. So, we're looking pretty good here. It feels, a lot of kneading is feel. You know that it doesn't necessarily look that way, but this feels now much smoother, even, stretchy, less sticky. Don't know if you can see well, but the tips of my fingers are actually looking relatively clean. Not perfectly, but the absolute tips, the dough tends to start coming away from as it gets ready. I think I'll call this done. Another few minutes and it'll be more done. But I can't be bothered at the moment. I've enjoyed kneading it thus far. It would just become a chore if I kept going. So that is our dough. Collect it all up. Moving some of the bits that have been stuck to the counter for a while. Because waste not, want not. Plunk it in a bowl. A lot of people say to form your dough into a ball before popping it in a bowl to rise. I don't think that really helps. The only way I can think of that it would make sense is if you were going to, having formed the dough into a ball, it was all going to be one loaf. That way you've got started on shaping the gluten structure into a round loaf, because you've made it a ball, pumped it in there, it will spread and deflate. Well, spread anyway, and then when you come to shaping you tip it out and reform the same structure. But this is going to be 2 loaves, so can't be bothered. Bye-bye for now. I forgot to say, before I said bye-bye, that this needs to rise for, well, it's a sourdough for quite a while, but it's going to have what's called a bench rest for a couple of hours outside the fridge before I chuck it in overnight. Alright. Ta-ra.